This is the tutorial for the sidebar preset. To add the sidebar, come to your effects and then generators, Greg edits generators, and then you can just drag and drop sidebar from here down to the timeline. And then if you come to the inspector, you can see the controls for the sidebar here. So by default, the sidebar will animate on from the left and also move the background as well, just like this, so the subject stays on screen. If you come to the timing tab, you can set how long this animation will take here. So by default, it takes 2 seconds, but if I was to put this to 1, now you can see it takes 1 second. And then below that, you can set the start and end easing of the animation as well. So if I was to set these both to none, then you'll see there'll be no easing at all, and it will just come in and then stop. If I was to set the second one to expo, which is the most easing, then you'll see there'll be no easing at the start, and then it will go straight into the end easing. Or if you're familiar with curves, you can come to curve and then create your own easing with a curve, just like this. And then if you want to go back to the drop-down menus, just click easing again. So back on the sidebar page, if you click playhead to start, it will move the playhead to the start of the clip. And if you click playhead to end, it will move the playhead to the end of the animation. So you can see the start of the animation and the end of the animation there, which is good because then you can set the controls for the sidebar here, knowing you're at the end of the animation. So here you can set the sidebar length like this. So if I wanted to put it over here, you can see it's now cutting off the subject a bit. So now you can use the background position and just move that over slightly here. So you can move this wherever you want. So you can just put it just there. And now it's going to keep the subject in frame like that. You can change the position of the sidebar down here. So you can have it on the right side, you can have it at the top, or you can have it at the bottom. And then again, you can use the background position slider to keep your subjects in the frame, and then use the sidebar length slider to increase or decrease how much the sidebar is shown. Down here, you can set the color of the bar. So let's set it to gray or purple, or you can use a gradient and have multiple colors. So you might want to have orange going into green, something like this. And you can play around with these to get it looking how you want. Underneath this, you can add a drop shadow. So this adds a drop shadow just here on the right hand side of the bar. If the bar was on the right hand side, you would just need to adjust the drop angle to get it to fall on the correct side of the bar. Here you can also adjust the shadow strength or the blur amount, and also the color of the drop shadow like that. And then beneath this, you can also add an edge line like this. And then you can increase the thickness here and change the color of the edge line as well. So you could have an edge line and a drop shadow, and these will all animate on along with the sidebar just like that. You can also add text to the sidebar. If you come to the text tab and click enable text, you'll see there is text now in the middle of the sidebar. So you can change whatever the text says here, and you can also change the font, the color, and all the normal text controls like the position and the size, along with rotation and a drop shadow down here. And you've also got the rest of the normal text controls just down here. And this text will animate on along with the sidebar, just like that. And then back on the timing tab, if you click on animate out, there will be no animation at the start, but at the end of the clip, it will animate out just like that. Or you can have it animate in and out. So animate in at the start, and then at the end, it will animate back out again. And again, you can change the timing of the animate out and the animate in just here. So if you want it to be longer for it to animate out, you can just set this to 2, and then it will animate out earlier and longer like that. Or you can have no animation. So just click no animation, and there'll be no animation at the start or the end. It will just stay there the whole time. And lastly, you can of course add motion blur, which makes the animation nice and smooth as it animates in, just like this. And that is the sidebar. If you have any questions or any issues, just send me an email and I'll be happy to help.